Bad Boy records once felt bulletproof. Diamond plaques, champagne fountains, and a swaggering mantra blasted from every SUV, Bad Boy for life. But look closer at the roster and you'll find a different kind of forever. Cold case files, prison ID numbers, hospital wristbands, and now a federal RICO indictment that could cage the label's founder for the rest of his days. Sean Diddy Combs is fighting accusations of sex trafficking, racketeering, and abuse so graphic they shook even the most jaded hip-hop reporters when they spilled out in open court on May 12, 2025. So tonight we follow 10 artists whose rises on Bad Boy's gold-plated elevator ended in the basement. Each story is a separate jolt of drama. Together they sketch a pattern the jury can't unsee. And yes, because dark humor keeps the medicine down, every so often we'll tip our hat to that indestructible chorus, "We ain't going nowhere." Turns out some of these artists really did sign up for life. The small print just forgot to mention parole boards. Hold that thought. We'll revisit the punchline when the docket closes.
The gangster rap world has been shaken again, this time by the violent death of the performer known as Notorious B.I.G.
The rapper was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. He was pronounced dead.
Let's begin with the crown jewel. Christopher Wallace was the label's gravity well. He sold multi-platinum tales of Brooklyn grit, then bled to death in the passenger seat of a Chevy Suburban on March 9, 1997. 4 bullets, still no convictions. This year, leaked LAPD evidence packets landed on the desk of prosecutors in the Tupac Shakur murder case. Inspectors quietly admitted the files suggest a money trail from death row enforcer Wardell Pucci, Faust to Suge Knight, while hinting at conversations Biggie's entourage had with Combs in the hours before the shooting. For 28 years, the investigation has flickered like a neon open sign nobody bothers to walk into. Biggie's mother sued the city twice, LAPD detectives have resigned in disgust, and new documentaries pop up every spring promising closure. Yet the case is now being cited by prosecutors to underscore a violent ecosystem surrounding Bad Boy's early days, one that never got disinfected. Every time these autopsy photos flash in court, the defense winces. The jury is reminded that blood was the opening act. Big's murder was physical, final, headline screaming. The next downfall twists the knife psychologically, and it's unfolding right now 3 blocks from that courthouse.
Cassie Ventura revealing the settlement stemming from her 2023 lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, as the singer testified in his federal sex trafficking trial May 14th. Cassie said the embattled media mogul agreed on a $20 million settlement after hitting Diddy with physical and sexual abuse allegations.
Cassie walked into Bad Boy's studio at 19, all whispered vocals and straight ironed hair. By May 14, 2025, she spent 4 days on a federal witness stand, voice trembling as she described 11 years of coercion, coke dust hotel suites, freak-off marathons filmed for private viewing, and beatings triggered by a passing compliment from another man. She also confirmed the rumor that dazzled Twitter in 2023, a $20 million hush money deal, adding, "I'd give every dime back for the time he stole." The defense tried painting her as a spurned lover chasing a payday. Then prosecutors produced hotel room bullet casings, medical charts, and a 2016 surveillance clip so brutal that network anchors warned viewers in advance. When Cassie stepped down, Dawn Richard, once the face of Danity Kane, stepped up to corroborate parts of the horror, claiming she'd witnessed Combs slam Cassie into a sofa, then threatened both women if they breathed a word. Cassie's testimony cracked the NDA dam. The next witnesses weren't solo stars, they were reality TV rookies who literally walked across New York looking for cheesecake.
Yo fam, Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
Dad, see me on TV, some punk ass bitch, yo. It's crazy. If I walk to Brooklyn, I'm going home. That's where I live, y'all. I'm not walking. Brooklyn is crazy.
Yo, it's called Making the Bitch, not Making the Band. I said we go back.
Remember MTV's Making the Band 2? Millions watched 6 novices trek from Midtown Manhattan to Brooklyn at 3 a.m. just to fetch Diddy's favorite dessert. It seemed like tough love programming until March 10th, 2025, when former member Sarah Rivers filed a federal suit calling the stunt forced humiliation packaged for profit. She alleges sleep-deprived rehearsals, withheld pay, and constant threats of termination if she didn't produce conflict on camera. Meanwhile, Danity Kane's Dawn Richard told jurors she watched Combs choke a crew member, then mutter he could make her disappear. The courtroom replayed that scene where Richard swings at bandmate Aubrey O'Day in 2014. She swears the stress of Bad Boy's control tactics primed the explosion. Viewers thought they were cheering drama. The cast calls it evidence, and here's where the humor sneaks in. When prosecutors played a clip of Diddy barking, "We ain't going nowhere." After the cheesecake mission, Rivers whispered to her lawyer, "Funny, that's exactly how probation works." The jury chuckled, the judge did not. If platinum selling pop groups couldn't buy protection, what chance did the label's golden era MCs have?
Be to yourself. Stay to yourself. Trust nobody. Trust nobody.
You met Puff on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Friday, you was recording your album.
No, I was recording Only You.
I was recording Only You.
And once that record came out, it was probably like a week or two later. And then I was showing up at a video to do Only You. So it was that fast. Then the locks was already signed. And then I think like that next week, once the record started going crazy, it was like, yo, we gotta sign him. We gotta sign him.
All right, so we gonna get to it. What did Puff do to piss you the fuck off? How did he do you dirty if he did you dirty? And what is doing dirty if a motherfucker puts you on?
That's really good. Let me take my shades off. Now I could say this because it's not something I didn't say to him. Puff, how do I want to say this? Me and Puff was like, I felt like I did more than I got credit for, more than I got paid for.
You felt or did you do that? Because you said felt, like
okay,
feeling.
let's clear that up then.
You saying you feeling that?
No, we're gonna keep it with, because I'm trying to be nice. I never got paid what I was worth, and I never got the respect I was worth. So the disdain that I got for Puff is more like, you trying to keep me here, nigga. I'm not here. All my peers is up here. All my peers are bosses. When it's time, just like somebody raised somebody up, you know they did work with you, they go from your little man to maybe A&R to something else. He just kept trying to keep me right here, like he didn't want me to grow at anything. And to anybody, is that gonna bother you?
Yeah.
Especially if I'm producing the work. Yeah. Puff would go out and party, and I would be in the studio writing the records, and then I just come back and say, he'll say this is his part or that is his part, but I was the person there creating it all.
Right.
And then, I mean, from the lyrical standpoint, whether somebody did a beats, and even More Money, More Problems, I came up with that. I came up with the beat too. And I said, Stevie, we need to do this beat and do it like this. So just imagine all of these moments that are taken from you, the records, the beats, you ain't getting the money, you ain't getting the publishing, you ain't getting the respect. And I don't think you're like that.
No.
Mace printed 1 Million Smiles in 1997, then vanished from rap in 99, citing a calling from God. In January 2020, he resurfaced on Instagram accusing Diddy of enslaving artists and revealing he'd offered $2 million cash to reclaim his publishing. Bad Boy refused unless he matched an unnamed Euro bidder. Mace closed his rant with a swipe at the anthem. Guess for life means I pay for yours and mine.
I was absolutely set up to be the fall guy.
The self-proclaimed fall guy now speaking out in his own words. Almost 25 years since that infamous nightclub shooting during a night out with Sean Diddy Combs and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez. 3 people were injured that night.
There's a narrative that still exists that you knowingly took the fall for Sean Combs.
Taking the fall means not snitching, not getting your friends in trouble. Even today, I wouldn't want to do anything to get anyone in trouble.
Sure. So did anyone come to you and say, hey man, we need you to take this hit for Diddy?
No, I did that out of honor and integrity.
A year later, Shine, once Combs' co-defendant in the Club New York shooting, stood before Belizean reporters as leader of the opposition. He declared Diddy someone who destroyed my life by steering blame his way in 1999. The line played on loop across Caribbean news feeds, overshadowing Shine's own rebrand as a clean-cut statesman. Some bad boys preached, some politicked, others marched themselves into precincts, begging for change just to escape the spotlight.
G-Dep, I guess, just got granted clemency.
Yeah, shout out to G-Dep.
So he's getting out.
Because G-Dep got high and turned himself in or something like that.
Yeah, so here's what happened. What happened was, before he had a record deal, he went and robbed some dude, and the guy resisted, and he shot him. Right? He didn't think he killed him. He just shot him.
Right.
Right? Years after the whole bad boy thing had run its course, and you
they
know,
said he got dusted, and he went.
Yeah, he looked like he was high. Well, when I saw him, he looked bad, man. I remember when I saw him when I first moved to New York in 2002, he looked bad. He was in the project somewhere, and you know, we met up with him real quick. And his life was just going really badly, and he was always thinking, well, it's because of the shooting I did back then. This is God punishing me. It's my karma.
Right.
I should go to the police and just, you know, get this off my chest. His wife begged him not to do it. And one day he went into the precinct and he said, hey, I did a shooting on this date back in the 90s on this corner, whatever. I just want to admit to it. When they looked it up, they realized the guy died.
In an act that still baffles criminologists, G-Dep walked into an NYPD station in 2010, confessed to a 1993 shooting, and accepted 15 to life. 14 years later, Governor Hochul granted clemency, citing exemplary behavior and crushing guilt that turned his cell into a confessional. He stepped out on April 4th, 2024, hugging his mother in front of cameras.
Say this, when I came home and I visited Puff for the first time in over a decade, I came as someone, first and foremost, grateful for everything that transpired.
Loon traded designer lenses for a prayer rug, converted to Islam but couldn't outrun a 2011 federal heroin conspiracy charge. He served 9 years and walked free on July 29, 2020, after a pandemic-era compassionate release motion. He now tours mosques, warning youth that excess makes you rich in fools, broken soul. Each man cites Bad Boy's whirlwind as the moment conscience went numb. G-Dep says he confessed because his $1 million single, Special Delivery, kept reminding him how fragile life was. Loon calls his past an ice sculpture under a desert sun, pretty but doomed from minute one. Not every downfall involved handcuffs. Some came folded in hospital gowns or sealed in hushed autopsies.
Yo, there's a lot of stuff, you know, I knew, but I don't think that they don't really know the inside of what was going on and what was really happening. You understand? They did the best with the information that they had. You understand? Craig Mack and anybody who knows and was around at that time knew that he was the catalyst that made Bad Boy and Big what they was. Now, Big was a hell of a rapper, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the numbers and everything, that Ready to Die album wasn't doing good in its first 6 months. You understand what I'm saying? Craig Mack single had blew up, Flavor in Your Ear. You understand? Which made Big jealous of him. You understand? So now they do the remix. And Big dissed Craig Mack on his own song, which he was heated on. And he went first. Anybody know, and most of the time when somebody has a hit, don't nobody go before them on their album. They come on after them or something like that. But Big went on first. And then what he said, I get more head than Craig get in the bed or something like that. Or Craig get in the Mac, or I got more Mac than Craig get in the bed, get head and order. Whatever he said, it was a diss. You understand what I'm saying? And that made Craig and him not, like each other.
When Craig Mack shouted "flavor in your ear" in 1994, few imagined he'd spend his final years in an apocalyptic South Carolina ministry predicting doomsday. His reported cause of death in 2018 was congestive heart failure, until September 2024, when Rolling Stone obtained a leaked death certificate listing HIV/AIDS complications and noting Mack declined treatment. The revelation reignited cult rumors and raised fresh questions about Bad Boy's artist welfare program, if any.
Hey, Black Rob, what you eating up there, man? What's that right there, man?
You know what this is, man? You know, famous Johnny Usada. All my Latin that that know what this is. All my black people, Babe Snoop. That's what we call it. Spanish Harlem, born and raised, man. That's what we do in these parts, man. We in the body or so. Might as well represent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man, this shit tastes good as a motherfucker, man.
All right. Yo, enjoy.
No big out. No big out. No don't.
Black Rob went viral in April 2021 from a hospital bed video, gaunt and wheezing about kidney failure. Fans gasped when he said, "I can't even buy Tylenol," while "whoa" racked up Spotify streams. Days later he died, leaving behind dialysis bills and a GoFundMe page. A former road manager later claimed the rapper's royalty checks arrived so late they looked like retro jerseys. Poverty, prison, and premature funerals. Call it coincidence, call it curse, but it lands us squarely in 2025, where Bad Boy's CEO fights for freedom on the same docket as traffickers and mob bosses. Federal agents raided Diddy's Miami mansion in October 2024, seizing disassembled AR-15 parts, designer pills stamped with Obama's face, and enough latex to start a surgical glove brand. Prosecutors call it tangible proof of an organized system that moved drugs, weapons, and victims for profit. Witnesses, assistants, chefs, security guards paint a picture of hotel rooms stocked with baby oil and lube reimbursed out of a Louis Vuitton duffel. Meanwhile, Howard University yanked Combs' honorary degree in June 2024, citing video evidence of him assaulting Cassie in a hallway. Xerox paused ad campaigns, Revolt TV's board distanced itself with a terse memo. Shiny suit nostalgia is being cross-examined, and the prosecution's closing slide deck literally spells Bad Boy Enterprises equals criminal enterprise in 48-point font. Cue another gallows chuckle. When defense counsel argued the brand is bigger than its founder, a reporter muttered, "Yeah, Bad Boy for life. Try getting that off the merch now." But the soundtrack is nearly over. Let's chart the common melody in these 10 cautionary tales before the final gavel drops. 10 artists, 10 wrecked trajectories, one through line, unchecked power backed by platinum budgets, contracts wrapped in champagne labels, silence purchased by NDAs, trauma disguised as grind culture. Whether it's a drive-by in 97 or a courtroom in 25, the backdrop keeps looping the same beat. So we end where the hook began. Diddy crowed Bad Boy for life. Maybe the prophecy wasn't about Billboard at all. Maybe it was a spoiler for deposition hell. Because some legends don't retire, they just migrate from radio to the Federal Register. Think the industry needs its own RICO statute? Or is this just one mogul's empire finally collapsing under its contradictions? Sound off in the comments, smash that like if you discovered something new, and subscribe for the blow by blow as the trial rolls on. After all, the chorus still echoes. We ain't going nowhere. But after this verdict, the destination could read USV Combs et al. Stay tuned. The last track is always the remix.